Hey guys, Jay Hoyt here. Before this video gets started, I just want to say thank you guys for all the support on the channel recently, but I want to make this clear. We are trying to push towards 1,000 subscribers. So if you haven't yet, or if you're brand new to my channel, or you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. It's totally free. You can always change your mind later. Without further ado, guys, let's get into the video. What's on, guys? Jay Hoyt back with you. Today, welcome back to Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. We had a couple of gameplays for you in the background. Had to get a couple of public match gameplays because I just could not play League Play today. I don't know what it was. Wasn't performing. I sucked today. Everyone has those days. But we are here to discuss this stage 2 major. So it's happened the last, what, 4 or 5 days, whatever it was. And oh boy, do we want to call them upsets? Do we want to call them Cinderella stories? Whatever we're going to call them, we're going to get right into it. Let's start out with the losers bracket. So we start off with the LA Guerrillas versus the Florida Mutineers. I predicted Florida to win this one 3-1. Close, really close. Florida ends up getting the 3-0, moving them on to round 2. LA Guerrillas, kind of surprising that they went out that early, especially when they beat FaZe, but you know, LA Guerrillas only had that one moment, and then they still kind of been at the bottom of the league and haven't really been the best of teams. On to our second matchup of losers, or I should say elimination bracket round 1. We have the LA Thieves versus the Paris Legion. Once again, Paris Legion coming off from a decent but not really stage where they kind of are settling down to where they're probably gonna finish in that bottom 4 of the league and just didn't really perform that great. So they go against the newly formed LA Thieves squad. They sub in Draza. Slasher goes to the bench, which was a kind of surprising decision, but we predicted this one to go game 5. Complete opposite. LA Thieves come away with the 3-0. On to our second round of elimination bracket. We got the Seattle of the Surge, the Battle of the Sea, and the Florida Mutineers here. What do we predict? We predict this one perfectly. Seattle walks away with this one 3-1 over Florida. We finally get one prediction right. And into our second matchup features the LA Thieves versus the London Royal Ravens. Although I got the map count predicted right, I don't get the winner. So London ends up falling in this one to the LA Thieves. They continue on their hot run after making a roster change. So was it the right move? I guess we'll have to find out. But in order to continue with the losers bracket, we gotta drop down some teams from winners round 1. Which, first of all, it's gonna hurt me very much to say this one, but Optic Chicago versus the Toronto Ultra in the first round. Unfortunately, I was really busy this weekend, so I couldn't really watch the matches live, so I had to watch them after the fact. This one, I don't know what happened for Optic. No idea. I mean, this stage was not good for them. You know, going 0-2 in week 2, 0-6 in map count. And then, I don't want to say struggling after that, but they beat Seattle pretty convincingly. And then they beat Dallas, which I thought, oh, hey, they're on the upward swing here. But then they lose to Toronto in the first round. Now, we'll get into Toronto's, you know, eventual good showing here in a minute. But Toronto somehow comes out hot. They beat Optic, sending them down to the losers bracket. And in the second matchup, obviously we got the first matchup wrong. But in the second one, we predicted Dallas to walk away with this one in the game 5. Dallas versus New York. This is, yeah, we predicted Dallas in the game 5. It ends up being a 3-0. I believe this one was a contested 3-0, though. It wasn't just a swift and easy 3-0. But Dallas walks away with the sweep, moving them on to face Minnesota. Let's jump back to losers bracket round 3. Is going to feature the recently dropped down Optic Chicago. They go against the Seattle Surge. So this team just beat Seattle in the league in, what was it, the 3rd week when they also faced off against Dallas. pretty convincing there. I had Optic 3-0. This one goes Optic 3-1. So they get the redemption. They're back on a winning streak. Optic moves on to losers round 4. Matchup features the New York Subliners and the LA Thieves. So we got this prediction wrong because LA Thieves weren't there in our predictions, but they are in this one. And in that case, I had predicted New York Subliners to beat the London 3-0. In this case, LA Thieves and New York are there. This one goes game 5. LA Thieves win this one. They move on to round 4 as well. We gotta drop down some more teams in order to go to the next round. Winners round 2 is where we're heading up to next. Features the Atlanta FaZe, our defending stage 1 champions, versus the hot Toronto Ultra, fresh off a victory versus Optic Chicago. But in true Atlanta FaZe fashion, they take care of that team. I don't want to say relatively easy, but in a 3-1 fashion, moving Atlanta to the winners finals. Second round in the winners bracket features the Minnesota Rocker versus the Dallas Empire, and unfortunately we got the map count right, but once again we didn't get the winner right. We predicted Minnesota 3-2. Dallas ends up winning that in the game 5, moving Dallas onto the winners finals versus Atlanta. So with Toronto and Minnesota drop down to the elimination bracket, Minnesota first goes against Optic Chicago, and I hate to do it. I hate to say it, but Optic threw this one away, and it hurts me, right? Optic, they lose. I think they lose the first hard point. They win the search. They win the control. I think Minnesota wins, and then I think game 5, Moscow. Optic's up. Now let me break this one down. Optic's up 4-3 in lives. They then get another kill, 4-2. Minnesota answers with 1 kill. It gets traded. It's now 1v3 for an Optic's favor, right? For the match, for the map, for the losers bracket round 4 to move them on to round 5. Optic's up 3-1 in round 11, right? 5-5. It's all on the line here. Optic gets in a gunfight. Accuracy gets the ace on the round, goes around the corner, and Optic just lines up perfectly for accuracy. So he just basically sprays, he lines everyone up, kills them all, and Optic lose, right? Heartbreaking fashion, right? When I saw that on Twitter, because like I said, I was very busy, couldn't watch these matches live. I just could not believe what I saw. When I saw accuracy with the 1v3 in a search, I was like, oh, maybe, you know, he just got a really nice round. But it also happened to be round 11, which happened to be the same round 11 that was in game 5 that knocks Optic out of the tournament. So Optic finished 5th, 6th. A very disappointing end for this, but also stage 2 has not been great for them. So hopefully everything they've learned in stage 2, they'll focus and put ahead towards stage 3. You know, there was times where I think everyone on Optic struggled in certain matches, and everyone just needs a fresh start here. Forget about stage 2, move on to stage 3. Obviously we don't know the groups yet, but hopefully once we do, then we'll talk about the groups and everything. But very disappointing stage from Optic. They're definitely going to rebound next stage. I'm excited to see what group they land in. But for Minnesota, they win the game 5. They move on to elimination round 5 as well, awaiting the winner of Toronto and LA Thieves. So in that round 4 matchup in the elimination bracket is going to feature the 2 teams we're talking about, the Toronto Ultra and the LA Thieves. So LA Thieves have won 3 straight matches to get them to this point. Toronto is 1-1 at this point after beating Optic and then losing to Atlanta. So Toronto comes away, and Toronto, where did these guys come from? Like, I don't think they had the greatest of weeks. Well, no, they had to have. So because they're in the winners bracket, so they had to have gone what, 3-2, I believe. I would guess losing to Atlanta and LA, maybe, or New York. I don't remember what group they were in now, but Toronto comes away with the 3-0. They beat LA Thieves. LA Thieves out of the tournament in 5th-6. In elimination bracket round 5, we got to eliminate one more team here, and it's going to feature the Minnesota Rocker versus the Toronto Ultra. Minnesota, like we've said, had a great stage 2. They end up getting in 1st seed in the bracket. You know, they've already beaten in this turn, or they lost to Dallas. They lose, or they win against Optic, which is huge for them. And then they face off against the very surprising Toronto Ultra, which end up getting the victory in the 3-1 fashion. Right, I don't know what it was with Toronto this tournament, but whatever they were drinking or whatever their pregame meal was, or whatever happened to these guys, they should do it every single day, right? Because these guys came out hot. Like I said, they beat Optic, they lost to Atlanta, they then beat LA Thieves, they now beat the Minnesota Rocker in the game 4, sending them to the elimination bracket final with the loser of Atlanta versus Dallas, which is gonna be our next matchup. Atlanta versus Dallas, 2 battle of the Titans in this one. Atlanta shows their class, shows their talents. 3-1 victory over the Empire, setting Atlanta to the grand finals, sending Empire down to face off against the red hot Toronto squad. In that elimination bracket finals is going to feature the Dallas Empire versus the red hot Toronto Ultra squad. And somehow, some way, Toronto keep this Cinderella story continuing. Now, they've beaten Optic, they've now beaten LA Thieves, they've beaten Minnesota Rocker, they now beat the Dallas Empire, and now they're going to the grand finals of this tournament versus the Atlanta FaZe, where I think someone said it on Twitter that only 9 people out of probably the thousands of people that made a bracket, only 9 of them made Toronto to the grand finals, or maybe even had them winning. I don't remember what the stat was now, but Toronto continues this Cinderella run, moves them to the grand finals for a rematch against FaZe, which somehow is our matchup, right? We predicted FaZe versus Optic, right? Optic's going on this huge run and beat all these teams, and then they lose in winners round 1. They get 1 match redemption, then lose against in a heartbreaking fashion versus Minnesota. And now this story sets up Atlanta FaZe versus the Toronto Ultra in the grand finals. Now, once again, we have a best of 9 series, and a lot of people are still saying there needs to not be a best of 9. It needs to be 2 best of 5s. Should it be a best of 7? Whatever the case may be, you know, being from the winner's bracket, you probably should have some kind of advantage, which kind of, well, or you having to win twice if you're coming from the loser's side, kind of makes sense. But this whole best of 9, I get it, right? You're trying to have both teams, you know, just battle out, see who the best team at this event was. But it kind of hurt Atlanta in this case. You know, this was a very, very contested series. Toronto stepped up big time. They looked to be one of the best teams in the game. Like this team came out of nowhere and performed extremely well. But as far as the winner of this tournament, it's the Toronto Ultra. Did I say that right? The Toronto Ultra have won the Stage 2 Major after beating Optic Chicago in round 1. They end up losing versus Atlanta FaZe in round 2. They drop down to the losers bracket. They beat the LA Thieves. They beat Minnesota Rocker. They beat the Dallas Empire. And then in the grand finals, they beat Atlanta FaZe in a best of 9 series that finishes almost to the full distance, but they finish 5-3. And in this one, I mean, just all props to Toronto. I don't know what to say. Very surprising result, but we need to see this in the league as well. If they want to be considered as a top 6 team, I think they are like 5th or 6th in the overall standings now. But if they want to be considered a top team, they have to do this consistently for the rest of the year. Right? Last year, we had, what, 6 different winners, I believe it was. This year, we've had 2. Right? There's 5 stages. There's going to be 5 tournaments, I guess, with playoffs if if that's still a thing. And, you know, obviously we could have 6 different winners. Are we going to? I don't know. Atlanta's looked really solid. You know, Toronto has a Cinderella run in this one. And just, oh boy, I don't even know how to describe this one. Congrats to Toronto Ultra. You know, at FaZe only lost 2 maps. They go 6-2 up until Grand Finals, and they lose the Grand Finals. So really tough scenes to hear from Atlanta. But on your screen now is going to be the final placements from this event. Obviously, we're going to start at the bottom here. Well, Paris Legion finished in 11th, 12th with 0 prize pool money. LA Gorillas down there as well, also in 11th, 12th. The London Royal Ravens, they finished 9th, 10th with no money. Florida Mutineers, no money as well, also in 9th, 10th. In 7th, 8th place, we have the Seattle Surge with 10,000 towards their team. New York Subliners finished in 7th, 8th. In 5th, 6th, we have Optic Chicago and the LA Thieves, both getting $20,000 each in that 5th, 6th role. In 4th place, we have the Minnesota Rocker with $40,000. In 3rd place, we have the Dallas Empire with $80,000. 2nd place, Atlanta FaZe with $120,000. And our winners is the Toronto Ultra with $200,000 towards their team. So absolutely incredible for Toronto there, obviously beating, you know, probably what, 3 or 4 of the top teams in the game right now. That's just surprising. I mean, props to them. I could keep saying it all day long, but that all sets us up for stage 3, and we have our final CDL points standings post stage 2, and it's on your screen. In last place, London Royal Ravens. Seattle making improvements up in 11th. Paris sit in 10th place with 50 points. Florida down in 9th place with 60. In 8th place is the LA Gorillas with 70 points. In 7th place, the Minnesota Rocker. They are tied with the LA Thieves, who hold the 6th spot. In 5th place is our winners of stage 2 here, the Toronto Ultra. In 5th place at 125 CDL points. In 4th place, we have a tie between the New York Subliners and Optic Chicago. So I guess they'd be tied for 3rd. In 2nd place is the Dallas Empire. And still in our 1st spot, 1st overall place, is the Atlanta FaZe. So as far as CDL points go, where do I really see the surprising teams? Obviously, Toronto had a big event. They get most of their points, I believe, in this one. So they get, what, 75 points for the win, I believe, and then 10 points each for each of their wins. So is that all their points? If it's not, it's close. But either way, a great event from Toronto. But as far as teams, as far as overall looks go, I mean, Atlanta still looks to be dominant. Unfortunately, they lose the Grand Finals versus Toronto, but Toronto, again, on that Cinderella run. Dallas still looking pretty good. Optic, I mean, I don't even know. They had a very rough stage 2, but I still think they'll rebound. I still think they're a top team. As far as a 3rd place overall, you know, that could be questioned right now because they don't look to be in great form. New York, I think their run ends kind of early with some unfortunate games. Toronto, obviously, huge run there. Do they deserve to be up there? I mean, yes, they had a great stage 2. Can they continue it on into the rest of the stages, rest of the league, and even into the next major? Can they continue that? I guess we'll see. The LA Thieves make a pretty good run in the losers bracket. They just made a roster change. So again, can they be consistent? Can this new team be what they were looking for? Again, we'll have to wait till stage 3. Minnesota Rocker, I guess, are tied with LA Thieves in that 6th spot with 110 points. So I definitely think they'll jump up there. But this might be our top 6-7 teams. Honestly, I think I don't know if Toronto can keep that up. If they do, we're gonna have a battle for the bubble of the top 6 teams. But as far as our last 5 teams go, or 5 teams with LA Gorillas, Florida, Paris, Seattle, and London. I mean, these teams look to be the bottom teams right now. And, you know, Toronto was down there until this event, but We'll just have to see where this goes. Like I said, I don't know the groups for stage 3 just yet, but once we do, we'll be making a video about it, predictions and everything once we get there, new power rankings and all of that stuff. So make sure you tune in, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload and you don't miss that upcoming stage 3 preview video. But with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, hit that like button down below. Let me know of your thoughts and comments on stage 2 in those comments section down below. And if you haven't yet, or if you're brand new to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down there as well. Turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload. And as always, guys, we'll see you in the next one.